Yep. Good morning. Great people, man. I'm dolo this morning. Excuse my printer. Still got the kids here doing school work. So, you got to be a principal, lunch lady, IT specialist, lunch man, all the above, man. How y'all doing? It is Thursday, May 13th. NFL just released the schedule. Damn it, man. That's why all my ink is gone. I mean, this school stuff is wild, man. But how's everybody else out there doing, man? Guys, drop some comments in the box. Gonna be a lot of fan interaction, obviously, today without AB here. Got a lot to talk about. I'm gonna wait till I jump into it. She is printing a damn novel. Just a second. Oh! Like, come on, man. It's for a fourth grader. But anyway, you know what you guys think about this schedule that just came out, man? My first thoughts on it, obviously, I looked at the coach schedule first. We got 4 primetime games. Only one at home. I don't know what the commission has against Lucas Oil Stadium or Jamercy, or maybe, Peyton and they beat them, just whooped up on people too much back in the day on primetime. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, we're not getting that home primetime love, but we're going to be all right, man. We are going to be all right. No, I don't say that. The Lions don't deserve that. But drop some comments in here, man. We're going to go obviously talk about the schedule. We won't talk too much about that. Don't talk about the schedule. Talk about what players look for when they look at the schedule. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have all heard cold games. When do we go to certain cities? But I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. Go talk about practice too. Teddy Bridgewater was on the All Things Covered pod with Patrick Peterson and Bryant McFadden, and talking about his experience last year as a starting quarterback with the Carolina Panthers, and spoke on hold on, let me see what Triple J talking about. Okay, Zach, you like the countdown? You saw I did that by myself too. No, you know what I mean? I just went. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. It's the little things. But anyway, so Teddy B was talking about practice and how the Panthers didn't focus a lot on 2-minute red zone, which are huge parts of the game, of winning NFL games, obviously. So we're going to dive into, my thoughts on that. Some matchups, intriguing matchups we have this season. You got the Bucks, Patriots. Obviously, everybody gonna be tapped into that one. Zach Wilson versus Trevor Lawrence. That'll be a good one. I'm excited. We talked about it earlier in the show. How soon do we get Justin Fields out there in the field for Chicago? I think it's good for the league when the Chicago Bears have a good football team. And then it's never too early to start talking about some betting. Some locks that I see from week 1. Had a Twitter Spaces last night. Shout out to everybody that jumped on there. It ended with like a 30-minute real locker room, a very mild locker room debate, discussion, argument, whatever you want to call it, with the triple OG, Carl Banks. He was up on the Spaces. It's a lot of young people in here, I'm sure. But he was a third overall pick in the 1984 draft, I believe. Won those 2 Super Bowls. Lawrence Taylor, Pepper Johnson, my old coach in New England. Bill Belichick, obviously, was also a member of the 1980s All-Decade team for the NFL. So it was good to chop it up with a legend. Ronnie Lott jumped in there for a little bit. He got out of there before I can get him up on stage. I'm definitely going to get Ronnie Lott on stage soon. Probably make it an OG Wednesday type thing. Pepe jumped up there. Shout out to Pepe. He jumped up there on the stage, asked a couple questions, both statement. I saw a lot of familiar faces from the pod, so I appreciate y'all going to start doing that more. I do Clubhouse as well. Twitter Spaces thing though, it's dope. I think it's going somewhere. What else we got? NBA, obviously. They're going into playoff mode. It's so crazy. The NFL does such a great job of marketing and talking about, what's going on. Like, we just had a whole, I said and talked on the app for an hour and a half about a schedule. Like I didn't talk to my teammates that much about our schedule when it came out. But now they got prime time, 3-4 hour shows, and people, everybody's talking about it now. So it seems like it's always NFL season, whether it's the draft, the combine, pro days, free agency, training camps, everything, man. It's always something. Also some news that you guys may not know yet. I'm not sure about the other team, but I know the Colts. The Colts are going to be starting their workouts this upcoming Monday. So it'll be close to perfect attendance, and they'll be in the building for 2 weeks. The OTAs are usually like a 10 to 12 week program maybe, but it's going to be 2 weeks. Everybody's going to be in the building. They're going to be getting work done. And then after that 2 weeks, they'll pretty much be on their own, physically. They won't be in person up until training camp. And training camp typically starts at the end of July. And then obviously you go into your preseason. You got your 3 preseason games now. And then you start your 17-game NFL season, which is going to be still wild, still crazy to even think about. When you start thinking about win totals, and they can't go 500, obviously. It's that extra game, extra week, but it's more football for us. Feel sorry for the guys, though. Woo. Hey, I might, if that's breaking news, I'm not sure. But like I said, it's happening with the Colts. Not positive it's happening with the other teams, but pretty sure most teams are working something out to get the guys in the building and, get after with the OTAs and stuff. Like I said, go talk about practice. I personally think it's important. It's important to be in the building. It's important to be around your guys as much as possible. Obviously, safely. However you feel about the vaccine. Some people will be vaxxed. Some people won't be. I had one of the GMs, I think Brandon Bean, came out and said, they asked him on a pod or something, would he cut a player that wasn't vaccinated if it meant that they could go back to regularly, meeting and doing things like that? And he said he absolutely would, which wasn't surprising, but a little. Anyway, I think it's beneficial for players, especially young players, going into a new system or, playing for a new coach or obviously, trying to win a job. It's only a small group of people who, they're locked in. Well, not that small, but a small group of people who are locked into their position, their role on their specific teams. For a lot of other guys, they're trying to earn those roles. And the only way you can do it, the best way you can do that is knowing what the hell you got to do, knowing where the hell you got to be all the time. So it's important to be in that building. So when I saw the boycotts and I saw the this and the that, I was a little hesitant. Like, hey, if I'm a young guy, get your ass in that building, man. Get up there and get that work. Talk to those coaches. Talk to your players. Because I'm of the mind you need that. I saw Tom Brady come out and say something along the lines of like, y'all don't worry about it. Don't get in here and get these OTAs, y'all. Stay safe, stay away from the building. Meanwhile, he'll be in Tampa putting together throwing camps for his squad. Trying to separate it from the pack. So don't fall for that okie doke from Tom Brady. So, but to answer your question, I might be an insider. Put on my hat. But Pat McAfee jumped up on in the spaces for a little bit. Got up there really just to talk shit about Bitcoin, taking a dive. Because of damn Elon. If I see Elon, it's on site. It's on site. But anyway, what we want to start off with? What do y'all want us to say? Y'all tell me. You know what? I'm gonna let y'all run the show today, man. What are we starting off with? The first response is what we're starting off with. Taking the comments. This damn chair. It's bothering me. Got Blake Bortles. Nah, I can't start off with Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles did sign with Green Bay, though. Signed to a one-year deal. Obviously, a former, I think he was a top 5 pick. Very familiar with him, played with the Jacksonville Jaguars. At this point in his career, he was probably the best option available on the street, quarterbacks right now. So, a little more assurance for the Packers. I personally think Jordan Love stinks right now. And that's why we didn't even see him suited up for to be a backup quarterback for some games last year. But we did. So going to jump into this schedule, NFL schedule. The Bucks open up with the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, I mean, you ask, what have they done to deserve this billing, right? Open up. First game of the season, Thursday Night Football, primetime. Cowboys at Buccaneers. And I mean, honestly, what they've done, I talk about a lot on the show, is business. Obviously, football is football. That's the game part of it. But the business side of it, they are they're, I don't want to call them a spectacle, but, they're always talking about them. When I get in media, when I go do some of these things with the big, I'm actually looking at a network right now. And the thing is, how about them Cowboys? Cowboys have played 10 games on Fox during the new 2021 schedule. So they're always been talked about the most valuable sports franchise, I believe, in the world, according to Ford. So that's what they've done to earn that billing. Not much on the football field to earn it, but they're opening up the season. That's what we got. Some other interesting matchups from week 1. Obviously, we got the Seahawks at the Colts. Last time the Seahawks came into the building, we whooped that ass. Then we went out there and they handled business on us. So we got to get them back. What's some other? I think Justin Fields will be out there that Sunday night football game against the Rams, the new look Rams with Matt Stafford. That'll be a good one. Hopefully Justin Fields is out there. I think he should be. Y'all heard that whole conversation back and forth debate with AB. Then Monday night, you got the Baltimore Ravens at the Raiders. And now, like I said, it's never too early to start talking about betting. A lot of people tuned in and were very locked in on the betting stuff last season. And this Raiders, Ravens are favored by. Okay, I thought I saw that. But anyway. So when we look at, first thing I used to look at when the schedule came out, obviously the cold games, but within your division, when are we going to Houston? I love the food in Houston. Some other things. Are you going to any warm cities late in the season? Do you got any late games against cold city teams? But since we had a dome, do we have them at home? If your family's in certain places around or friends in certain areas. You obviously look at those games, look forward to them, and then you start counting off, all right, when we can start off out the gate. We can go 3-1, we go 4-0. Shit, we might go 2-2. So you start kind of doing that. But it's not a big thing, honestly, as a player. The fans, obviously, guys and ladies booking trips, making plans, all that good stuff. But a lot going on. Monday Night Football schedule. What about it, Triple J? What about it? Ooh, okay, we got some. Nah, I won't start with that one. Let me see. I'm about to take the first question. I want to talk about the schedule, these games. I mean, I'm looking forward to. I don't even know how to say this name. Starecki. But I'm definitely looking forward to the Chargers this year. You guys should know how high I am on Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's phenomenal quarterback. I think he was a top probably 7-8 quarterback last year. should take more steps going into the second year. Got great weapons around him. I really want to see Derwin James healthy. They signed Asante Samuel Jr. in the second round. He should be out there starting as a rookie, I believe. They went with Sean Slater to shore up that left side, invested a lot in that O-line. The Chargers are going to be a good team to watch this year. Obviously, you got the Chiefs in that division, still the favorite by a stretch. Unless A-Rod ends up over there in Denver, then we might have to have a conversation. But for right now, that's what we got. Boop, 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 boop. Matt, question about the bye week. Matt Merringer, Colts bye week being so late. Is that a good or bad thing? You know what? It honestly depends on how your season's going. You know, how are your injuries shaping up? Injuries for other teams. You know, what's going on with them. And that's the other thing about the schedule. When it comes out, you can look at it and say, oh, these teams were playoff teams last year, or these teams sucked last year, or, you got your strength of schedules and this and that. And you can look at the thing, certain teams are going to be good. And certain teams on paper, they look like they're going to stink it up. But you got to get out there and play the game. So you look at your schedule before the season, and then by week 4, week 6, week 8, that schedule looks completely different. Like you may have the Bengals, you may think something coming out of them out of the gate. And then now you get to week 8 and the Bengals, they may be, 5-3 at the time or something like that. Week 9, they're 5-3 or, 4-4, but they're playing everybody tough. And now you're like, okay, that's, maybe that, that's going to be a different ball game. Or a team who's supposed to be good, but their quarterback is hurt, or their running back got hurt, or maybe another significant piece on their team goes down and it completely changes the outlook of that team. So it's one thing to look at it preseason on paper, but you got to play those games, man. You got to play those games. And, that always changes. Got Tone going right to Tebow. Off the rails, Tone. Shout out to Tone. That's the producer of the show. He says, with your Tebow comments on Pat's show, who do you have in your top 5 of non-NFL players? Don't disrespect Timothy Tebow like that. That could make the move to the NFL talent-wise. Non-NFL players. We've seen guys do it and come from college, from different sports. Talked about Tony Gonzalez doing it, Antonio Gates doing it. Those guys obviously at a Hall of Fame level. Jimmy Graham, Mo Alley-Cox, Eric Swoop. Professional athletes from other sports that can come to the NFL. Russell Westbrook is probably the first person that comes to mind. But like I said, it's kind of a disrespectful question towards Timothy Tebow. Because Tim Tebow is, who just said that? You read my mind, Craig. Timothy Tebow is a football player through and through. Jacksonville legend. Jacksonville Nice High School. Look him up. A lot of people don't know that. Jacksonville Nice. I'm a Florida guy, so I know it, but Jacksonville Nice. High school legend, obviously a college football legend, arguably the greatest college football player of all time. But he has been out of the league for a while. He has been playing baseball, and he will come back playing a new position, tight end, trying to play a new position, should I say. Good thing about it, obviously, he's a football player through and through. He's taken hits. He's had injuries. He's had long seasons. He's, up, down, all those different things. He's been a quarterback, so now, he's going from playing quarterback to playing a tight end position, which is like going from mentally, like going from trigonometry to, algebra 1, algebra 1 or calculus. So he's going to know exactly where the hell to line up, exactly what to do. And that's half the battle as a player. So, but to get back to your question, Russell Westbrook, the first person that comes to mind. A lot of people say LeBron. LeBron's one of the greatest athletes ever. So he could definitely, obviously, come in and be successful at it. But the first guys that come to my mind are like Russell Westbrook, John Wall. How big is Mookie Betts? Mookie Betts, a good athlete. It was another guy who used to fly. He probably still plays right now in baseball. Might be Hamilton or something like that. But Carl Crawford back in the day. I mean, football, it's reps. You get out there, and if you're tough, think about football, you got to be able to get your shit knocked loose and get back up there and do it again. Anthony Edwards, for sure. I can definitely see Anthony Edwards getting in there and doing it. If I had to look at the Colts schedule right now, somebody asked me to predict the Colts record. Max Major 76. Max Major 76. Let's go through this Colts schedule right now. Actually, I had it written down. I had it early yesterday, like they say on Pat Show. Jay knew, D-Bud knew, but I couldn't leak it. I don't want to get anybody fired. So out the gate, Seahawks. You got Seahawks coming into town. Obviously, tough game. Super veteran quarterback Russell Wilson coming in. That defense for them is healthy. They can play really well. Carson Wentz, this will be his first game under center for the Colts. We have historically started slow. So, let's say loss. Let's say we lose that one. 0-1. Loss. And then we got the Rams at home. I say we beat the Rams. W. Tennessee, at Tennessee. Win. We're going to sweep them. That's already another win, Tennessee. Miami, at Miami. Win. Monday Night Football at Baltimore. Now, this is the third game of a 3-game road trip. Monday Night Football. I'm going to say we lose that one. Lost to Baltimore. We come back. We got Houston at home, 1 o'clock. We win on a short week. Then we got to fly across the damn country and play the 49ers. Depending on if we fly Saturday or Friday. If we fly on Friday, 2 days early, we win that game. We fly the day before, we lose it. So I'm going to say L. L there. Like I said, we beat Tennessee again week 8. We beat the dog shit out of the Jets on Thursday Night Football, their only primetime game. Jacksonville, 1 p.m., win. At Buffalo, we owe their ass, win. Tampa Bay, I'm going to say loss. At Houston, win. Bye week, come back, we got New England. I say we get New England. Win. Christmas game at Arizona. We fly back out there on Christmas. We're going from the cold to the warm. Even though it's going to be in a dome, obviously. It's a toss-up. Las Vegas Raiders. I say we beat them at home. Jacksonville, we beat them. You know what? I say we lose to the Cardinals. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses. Only 5. What's that? So 12-5. 12-5. There we have it. There we have it. Yeah, I think the Jets have. We also had Dan in the spaces last night. Front office. He works in the front office with the New York Jets. Tell y'all need to hop in these Twitter spaces or the clubhouse when I open them up. We had Dan on there from the Jets, front office with the Jets. We had Lejay Douzable, played 10 years in the league, played for the Jets, for the 49ers. Who else do we have in there? Like I said, Pat. We had Gump from Pat's show. Carl Banks. We had some good people in there. Great questions, all type of things. So 12-5. 12-5. That don't even sound right. This dude's really playing 17 games. That absolutely stinks. God dang. Merch, Rusty. The merch will be available next month, June. I'm new to this merch game, so I'm trying to do it right. But everything's gonna be available. The DB stuff, it's gonna be everything DB stuff. The man-to-man stuff is gonna be super dope. AB got that whipped up. It's gonna be super dope, man. But yeah, so I'm gonna jump into these comments, these practice comments about 2 minutes, and just give y'all, because I've been getting questions on here to talk a little bit more about, football and going into a little detail. So I take this opportunity to do it here. So like I said, Teddy B talked about the lack of preparation in the 2 minute red zone. So 2 minute, almost every game, most games against good teams in the NFL come down to either getting a stop in 2 minutes, your defense, or as an offense, going out there and trying to score in a 2 minute drive to win, seal a game. So super important, obviously. Now, in the 2 minute drive, how this happens in practice is the coach calls everybody up. Offense goes to one side, defense goes to one side. He tells, brings the situation. All right, so first team, 11 personnel. That's 3 wide receivers. That's 1 running back, 1 tight end. That's why it's called 11 personnel. You bring in 3 wide receivers, right? That makes your 5 eligibles. Typically, that's the 2 minute personnel. For defense, it's typically a sub or a dime personnel. Sub, 5 DBs on the field. Dime, 6 DBs on the field. So you run your sub, you run your dime out there. Coach says, hey, this is the situation. We got 147 on the clock, 2 timeouts. Offense needs a touchdown to win. Down by 5. Offense needs a touchdown. Obviously, you got to get stopped. Put the ball down. Offensive coordinator has to call their plays. Defensive coordinators have to call their plays. All the players on each side of the ball have to make their adjustments, and it's a real game situation. Hut, drop the ball. Outside of that, those type of situations, things are scripted, right? If we're playing against whatever team as a defense, we have our players who, backup players, or even some players who start sometimes, but usually backup players or practice squad players on the opposing scout team, and they literally look at a card. I guess a card with a diagram with the plays. Hey, you go here, you go there, you do that. And then we get the looks of, we're opening up with Seahawks. So we would have, as a Indianapolis Colts defense, we will have looks from the scout team for the Seahawks offense. So their formations, their route concepts, et cetera, et cetera. Once we do the 2 minute, that's just live bullets flying. We don't know what's going to be called. We don't know what adjustments are going to be made, so that when we get in the game, we're already used to, those things happening at a fast pace. No real are we supposed to be doing? Okay, we're supposed to be running this coverage against that formation, but they did this. Let's go over that. Nah, it's just we're going. So I made a comment about 2 minute a couple months ago, actually, about the importance of it on Twitter. Maybe watching the game, I said something about practicing 2 minute and blah blah. Because usually it's only 1 day a week that teams do that, on Thursdays, and it's usually good on good. So it's first offense against first defense, and the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, replied to me, comment on it. It was like, hey, out here with Big Red and the Chiefs, we practice 2 minute every day. And I'm like, damn. Or maybe, my comment was, if I was a coach or something like that, I would practice 2 minute every day, just because of the level of importance of it. And he commented on it and said, hey, that's what we do out here in Kansas City. So obviously they have the talent, but that continuity and that communication to where we know where we're going to be, the type of plays as a defense, as a defensive player, you should know what calls your coordinator is going to make just by the personnel that's on the field, this game situation. You should have a short menu of plays like, all right, he's probably going to call this or that, so that when he calls it, your gears are kind of already turning. But if you're not practicing that, from the coaches down to the players, and everybody's not on the same page, once you get in a situation, you look at the Panthers, they lost a lot. They lost. Gump was on the stage, and he's a big time gambler. And he was going back to games where they lost close games with critical plays where they, And obviously that's a lack of, you always hear you practice how you play how you practice. So, it's a huge thing in New England. Bill Belichick always made us go over gotta have it plays. Like that was a big thing for him. Gotta have it plays. Gotta have it. What do they like to do in gotta have it situations? 2 minute, 4 minute, which 4 minute is, if you're the offense, you're trying to run the clock out. You're trying to get a couple first downs to get on the knee. And obviously the defense in that situation got to be super aggressive, try to get a stop, try to force a turnover and get the ball back to your offense. So 2 minute situation, 4 minute situations, red zone situations. So like when we get close to the goal line or, what do they do on 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, goal to go type situations, game on the line, 2-point conversions. What do they do? What are their favorite plays? Because all the coordinators, all the quarterbacks have their favorite plays that they like to run in those situations. Like if you go back and you look at the last 5 years of, Matt Ryan or Drew Brees or Peyton Manning, whoever, and you say, okay, what do they do in these games when they're in these situations? So the same situations come up in the game. What do they like to do? What plays do they go to? What type players do they go to? What type of shifts? What type of motions? So the more you prepare for those things, the more ready you are when those situations arise in the game, and the better you're going to play. So for them not to be practicing those, now it was a new staff out there in Carolina. You had a new defensive coordinator with Phil Snow, new offensive coordinator with Joe Brady, who was the LSU coordinator, I believe, a college guy. And you had a new head coach with Matt Rule, who was also a first-year NFL coach. So it's something that hopefully they learn from it and, they get better and they grow from it. But that's, in my opinion, coaching malpractice. Absolutely coaching malpractice. And you can't have that. And I didn't think Teddy Bridgewater got a fair shot. Obviously, he could have played better. He could have done some things better. But that's the nature of the beast, nature of the business. But that's my 5 cents on that whole situation. Yeah, kind of went on a little rant there. Hope y'all took something from it. But when I heard that, I was like, man, that's absolutely nuts. Had a busy media week. Jumped on Pat show on, what was that, Tuesday maybe? Talking about the Tebow situation and talking about him thinking the country of the NFL would medal in the Olympics. And then I went on Jim Rome this week. Had a great conversation with Jim Rome. I'm going to drop that link. I already dropped it last night on my Twitter, that full interview with Jim Rome. But yeah, man, doing some things, keeping it moving, keep it pushing, thinking about something right now. I'll get back to y'all on that. G.I. Joe 317, DeForest Buckner versus Quentin Nelson at practice. Woo! I'm sure that's a sight to behold in practice. Big Grover Stewart in there too. That is a that would be a great matchup. I mean, that's the thing about practice, man. Like, and in the NFL, before I get off this soapbox, red zone. Now, it's malpractice enough not to practice 2 minutes, but not to practice red zone. So red zone in the NFL, shit happens so fast down there. I believe Teddy said they used to walk through it on Fridays or something like that, and walk through is like a slower pace, right? Like, not full speed. Some players don't even have cleats on, shoes, and you're, okay, this is the spot, this is the coverage, boom, I'm here. That's what a walkthrough is. When you get in the game, like I couldn't imagine being a quarterback walking through red zone. And then when I get in the game, this is really my first time really seeing like this shit full speed, because red zone, like NFL, the windows are this close. The time is that in the red zone, especially the tight red zone, it's like no time to think. There are no windows. You got to create your windows. You have to overly sometimes anticipate throws, because as a DB, I know you can't run by me. Like, I know you can't run 20, 30, 40 yards down the field now. So as a DB, I'm sitting on the goal line. I'm forcing you to run over the top of me if you're a good DB. I'm forcing that quarterback to make quick, accurate, extremely accurate throws, great decisions. Maybe you got to check into a run. So for you to not practice that live, that's wild. That's unbelievable. But that's crazy. Take a couple questions real quick. Take a 30-second break and then be right back on the other side of that. I'm gonna finish off with more questions. We're gonna talk basketball. I may talk a little stock market, a little crypto. And then take questions. I love these questions from you guys. I'm gonna start having you guys send these questions in beforehand. So I like answering off the top of my head, but some better answers for some of them. And then also you got to get a mailbox. You got to start. So we're gonna have to put some live production in this thing. Woo, best blocker receiver. I already see some good questions in here. Dave K. D-Butt, how frustrating was it in the red zone with QBs that could extend plays like Rodgers, Wilson, Mahomes types? So the thing about the red zone is that's another element of it. It was something the coach used to say is every quarterback becomes a scrambler in the red zone. Because once again, as a quarterback, you're trying to buy a little more time. Sometimes you're trying to create more opportunities for your receivers to get open. And sometimes, especially when you get closer to the end zone, and then when you guys watch football this year, you'll see once you kind of get inside that 10-yard line, coaches kind of go one or two ways. Like it's one or two defensive coaches. The mindset is either I'm about to bring this gas and I'm bringing pressure after you, and we're going to blitz the house and make you make a quick, accurate throw, get them out of any run look, or I'm going to drop a bunch of guys back in coverage. And I may send just only 3 guys at you and drop 8 guys back in coverage to make those windows even smaller. So when you do the coverage, that's when even like a Tom Brady type quarterback will be able to buy more time, scramble, create more time for his guys to get open, or even run for 3-4 yards, which is big down there, or sneak in there for a touchdown because nobody's paying attention to him. So every quarterback becomes a scrambler in the tight red zone. In the red zone, but especially in the tight red zone. Like I said, on the other side of this, be right back. Be taking more questions, get to some basketball stuff. What else we gonna get into? I wrote some stuff. Oh yeah, we got to talk about. Shout out to Stewie. Stewie left Nike, went to Puma. She's getting her first signature shoe. I believe it's the first signature shoe for a WNBA player, if I'm not mistaken. I know Maya Moore went Team Jordan not too long ago. We also had an episode. It dropped last night, actually, but you guys should tap into it with Michael Baptist. A suit. Nah, it's my guy, wealth advisor over with the Vios Group, and they work with the Rockefeller Capital up in New York. So, obviously a lot of people getting into investing and crypto and all these different things that a lot of people weren't really into before 2020. Just some more information, more game in that space, because it's a lot of hype and shit around it and not enough, real talks about fundamentals and how shit, supposed to go, things like that. But yeah, that'll be on the other side, man. I'll be right back. Let me try to find this countdown thing again, man. Ooh, you can't tell me shit. I'll be right back though. One more time. Yes, sir. Bye-bye. Oh, man. We back in the building. I got to figure out how to make that countdown a little longer. Come on, Tony. You got to get me right. You got to get me right. The swoops have... hey, that could be false information. I did not fact check that. Could be false information. We got the WNBA starting tomorrow. Shout out first and foremost to the Atlanta Dream. We had their one of their owners on the show, Renee Montgomery, my fellow UConn alum. Yeah, I hope y'all can't hear that. The landscapers outside, they always show up. Shout out to all the shout out to the WNBA. So we got Stewie. Saw Stewie, Aja Wilson. Who else did that slam shoot? They did some dope stuff in the slam. They also dropped the WNBA Commissioner Cup. So and it's commissioner, and now WNBA race starts tomorrow. Stewie got a signature shoe. It pays out, so the Commissioner Cups pays out the winning team $500K with $30K going to each players, which is huge, in the WNBA. The average salary is $85K. Okay, Zach said you can't hear him good. But so that's big, man. The details on that is every team will play in a 10 intra-conference game in the first half of the season that will be considered the Commissioner's Cup games. Team with the best winning percentage in each conference of the Cup games will face off August 12th in Phoenix. The winning team will be awarded $500,000 to split amongst its players with a custom designed cup that is passed from champion to champion per season. I mean, I think that's pretty dope, man. I think that's pretty dope. Obviously, I hope the WNBA keeps growing their brand. Very skilled. Okay, now they're getting closer. I know y'all can hear them now. Very skilled players. I obviously have a ton of respect for them. Going to UConn, I feel like I played against half the WNBA or seen them play with all those UConn legends that are in the league. So I'm excited about them starting tomorrow. Let's see. So, Tone, 9 players have had a signature shoe in the WNBA. Stewie, Breanna Stewart, will be the first in 11 years. Mind you, Bree Stewart, once again, UConn legend. I believe she was 4 for 4 at UConn with Natty's. Her resume is phenomenal, ridiculous. Let's get to the NBA. So, Lakers won last night with no Schroeder, no AD, no Bron. Still found a way to win. I think they won by 2. I mean, they did play the bum-ass Rockets, but still won that game. And they stayed in the 7th seed, which it's like an 80+% chance that we're going to get the Lakers versus Steph in the play-in game. And that's most likely when LeBron will make his return. Now, yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. You got Lakers and the Warriors, which, I mean, who when they came up with the play-in thing, who in the world would have thought we were going to get the Lakers and the Warriors with Steph and LeBron on the court? Now, obviously, Klay's not there, and I think that's a big reason why the Warriors are here. The Lakers, have dealt with their fair share of injuries this year with Anthony Davis and LeBron, so that's why they're here. But I mean, you get some good basketball not only at the end of the NBA season, but to start it off for the play-in. So you got them, you got the Grizzlies and the Spurs. They're looking like the other play-in game in the West. On the East side, you got the Hornets and the Celtics. And then you have the Pacers and the Wizards. Now, once again, another shout out to Russ, what he's been able to do with those triple doubles. And not only that, but having the Wizards on the brink of getting into the playoffs. Now, it's going to be tough for the Lakers to get healthy, in my opinion, and make a run for a back-to-back season. Super short off season. Obviously, it took a toll on their bodies. You've seen how they limped through this regular season. And I would say the same thing for the Nets. Those have been the favorite all season to represent both conferences. But James Harden with the Nets, he came back last night off the bench, and he looked like, he didn't miss a step. He does that. KD does that. And that's tough to do, not only from a playing standpoint, from a win, conditioning standpoint. But after the game, they asked him, was he surprised about his performance and being able to come back and play, how he played. He said, "No, I'm not surprised. Like, I'm really good at this game. I'm really good at this game," which I agree. James Harden is great at the game. He lets the game come to him. He plays unselfishly, when he has other players around him that can carry their weight. Obviously, he's one of the best offensive scorers that this game has ever seen. I love watching him play, man. If you can get a healthy Nets and a healthy Lakers, I still don't know if both will be a favorite at this point. I think it'll be tougher for the Lakers to get healthy and make a run in that West. So I'm sticking with my Suns pick. I'm sticking with the Phoenix Suns. But Bron said he's only a couple of days away from getting that back-to-back, and he is the GOAT. So we're going to see if he can turn up. And then if the Nets can get healthy, man, I think I'm going back. I'm going to go back to the Nets. If they can get healthy, it's going to be hard for me to bet against KD, Kyrie, and Harden. But that's a big if right now. But those are three, like, real life, like, hoopers. Like if I could just take one person's game and take it with me anywhere, and I can play exactly like this guy, it will be Kyrie. And then you got a unicorn. You got a 7-foot, sniper with guard handles. And then you got James Harden, like I said, one of the best offensive weapons the league has ever seen. Passing, shooting, free throws, all that. So it'll be interesting. But Steve Nash, he is new. It'll be his first time, dealing with that playoff atmosphere as a coach. Tone is talking about the Bucks. Tone Gaines, he said the Bucks are the healthiest and have the best chemistry to him. I'm not a believer in the Bucks. I said every time they come up, I am not a believer in the Bucks. I'm not a believer in the Bucks. I'll tell you that right now. Got the Nets. You do now. Philly, I'm more of a believer in Philly. They always seem to fold in the playoffs too. But if Wnba can stay healthy, which is a big if. Big if. But if he can stay healthy, woo! He was on. Hey, Devin. Devin said, "Does Wnba win MVP?" He was on pace. Joker's had an outstanding year too. Them losing Murray, obviously, is a big hit for them going down the stretch. But I don't know if Wnba wins it. Who wins the MVP? Who would get my vote? If I had to give a vote, honestly, and I'm biased. You guys know I'm biased. My vote this year for the most valuable player be Steph Curry. I mean, he was box office. If you look at the squad that he had out there with him, I mean, usually it goes to the best player on one of the best teams during the regular season. So I highly doubt he gets it. But if I had to cast a vote, Steph out there in Golden State will be my vote. G.I. Joe 317, he said Steph's the comeback player of the year. Could be that, but I'm giving him MVP. I things. What is he averaging? Damn near 32 points a game. I said before the season he would average 33. I was a point off. I wish Wiggins gave him a little bit more. A lot of times they playing 4-on-5 on offense with Draymond not being able to score, but Draymond does add different layers to that team, especially defensively with his communication, with his play, his flexibility, his leadership. And then on offense, the same thing, getting guys where they're supposed to be, moving the ball, getting Steph open, hitting him when he's open. So still a very, very valuable player. Westbrook, Shea just said Westbrook's a walking triple-double, Mr. Triple-Double now officially. Most all-time, got to be in the MVP running. I mean, if most valuable, he would be in the argument, but I think it's going to come down to either. I think realistically, Joker will be in the conversation. Giannis, low-key, is having probably a better statistical season in some areas. Giannis may be in the convo. He's been healthy most of the year. Embiid, if he was healthy, I think he would have ran away with it. So probably. But honestly, if we've been real, I think Joker deserves it. If we've been real, because they're a good team, been good all year. He's been phenomenal. They're a four seed right now. Like I said, I lost Jamal Murray. He's had that team on his back all season. Julius Randle out there in the East with the Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks, man. They clinched. They're in the sixth spot. They might have to. My hat here. They might have to bump it to my Heat. I know they don't want to see those Heat, but the Heat have clinched the 6th seed. Let's just go through these seeds real quick. On the East, we got Philly. I'm going to just name them in order from top to bottom. Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Miami, Knicks. And then we talked about the play-ins. Boston and Charlotte. Boston is 7, Charlotte's at 8. Indies in 9th. It's Pacers. And then you got the Wizards in 10th. On the West side, we got the Jazz, the Suns, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Trailblazers, the Mavericks. Mavericks kind of disappointing this year. The Lakers, the Warriors, 7, 8. And then you got Memphis and San Antonio, 9 and 10. Hopefully it's a good playoffs. That's when I really tap into the NBA game. I've been watching more this year, though, but that's when I'm, okay, let me lock into this. Outside of that, we talking about the schedules and, Elon got me tripping on my crypto. But yeah. Who wins the play-in game in the East? You know what, man? I wouldn't want to see. I would not want to see. I see Washington winning theirs over the Pacers. Sorry, Pacer fans. In Boston, Boston lost Jaylen Brown for the year. He's out for the year. And I wasn't really high on Boston anyway. We talked about them earlier in the season. It been a huge possibility that they break up after this year. That means the coach Stevens. I don't know what they're going to do with the big three that they have: Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba Walker. Shout out to UConn, another UConn great right there. But I think they break up after this. I'll take Charlotte in that play-in game on the East side. If it came down to Charlotte and Boston, young boy LaMelo's back. Well, he's the type of energy that team played. They kind of held serve without him even being in the lineup. So I'm gonna go Charlotte right now. And then on the West side, I got to take, if the Lakers are healthy, I'll take them over the Warriors, even though Steph probably going to go for 45. And then I'm actually go with the Spurs over the Grizzlies if this ends up being what it is. But yeah, man, I'm going to pick a champ once the NBA starts. I want you guys to pick 1, 2, see who's right. I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not even going to get into Victor Oladipo right now, but I hope he gets healthy, man. I hope he gets healthy. What else we got, man? What else we got? Alfonso C. Do you believe in the Jazz as a true number 1 seed? Because I don't. Ain't no way they make it past the second round. Do I believe in them as a true number one seed? They play great team basketball. They are coached great, but in the NBA, I think if it was the NFL, they would have a chance to win a championship. The NBA is different. The NBA, you need that star power. Like you need obviously team depth, ball mover, all those things are great, but you need a dog or two at the end of the game where it's like, all right, get out the way. I'm gonna get us a bucket. I'm gonna take us home. And then obviously you need team defense to get stops. So they have a chance. I won't say no way in hell they won't make it past the second round. I wouldn't be shocked if they end up in the Western Conference Finals or something. Is Donovan Mitchell back? Will he be 100 for the playoffs? Obviously, if he's 100 for the playoffs, that changes things for him. But I would say Lakers, you got Lakers, I would put the Clippers above them, honestly, down the stretch. As even though they've tricked it off plenty times. But Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley be set for the playoffs. So you guys let me know if they'll be back. But if they're back and they're 100%, they got a chance. But I don't see them as a true one seed. Pelicans missed the playoffs. Disappointing. I wouldn't say Zion. Craig asked, did Zion disappoint this season? I would say absolutely not. Zion balled this season. He balled. Very efficient. I think he had very fit. I can't think of the record that he set this year that Michael Jordan or somebody else had, but very efficient. I think I'm disappointed in that team as a whole, but definitely not disappointed with Zion. Not at all. They got a lot of talent on that team. They should definitely make the playoffs. Definitely make the playoffs, man. What else we got, man? I feel like I'm missing something. Let me check real quick before I let y'all go, man. Let me check it real quick. You know what? I got a question from Tone. We've been talking about crypto. So, Tone, what do you think of all these cryptos popping up like HOK, H-O-K-K? I don't even know what that one is. I been in the crypto game for a long time, man. A long time, way back in 2017, which seems like an eternity from now. And over that time, it's probably been who knows how many new cryptos pop up. Some have ran up, some have not. I don't get into a lot of the new ones, honestly, just because I've been in the same ones for so long. And when I invest in things, I invest in things that I can believe in and I can understand to an extent. And that I want to ride a wave, for a while, not like a hype wave for a couple months or a couple weeks. It's the new thing, the Shibu or the Come Rocket, this coin, that coin. Every week, every day, it's something new. So I don't go out and chase Doge. A lot of hype, a lot of, a community behind that. So I don't chase, but I'm big on Ethereum. This is not financial advice, entertainment purposes only. Disclaimer. I'm big on obviously Bitcoin. I would never sell my Bitcoin. But I would compare Bitcoin to like having a safety deposit box, having like diamonds, having gold bars stored away somewhere. Like Bitcoin, I look at Bitcoin as kind of like a store of like wealth, like pass and move wealth, not like Bitcoin to go buy a Tesla or go buy some groceries or go pay a bill. Like that's not what I think Bitcoin, the use for that would be. Ethereum is kind of like a platform that a bunch of other things on the blockchain and NFTs and other things are kind of built on top of. So Ethereum, obviously the use case for them is so much is going to be, it's going to have to be used. You can buy a lot of other cryptos. You can do a lot of other things with Ethereum that you can't do with other coins. So I think that, you know, has the best long-term growth potential. I'm standing that. Bitcoin, obviously, as well, long-term growth. Litecoin, back when I got into that in 2017, they were saying like Litecoin would probably be like the date, like the type of stuff you'll spend at like a grocery store, you know, at a bodega. You know, you buy something from your friend instead of Cash App, you send them some Litecoin. That was the thought process behind that. That's why I got into that. And I just kind of been rocking with them. You know, obviously the growth has been there, very volatile, still a very new thing overall. So you're going to see dips, you're going to see highs. I've seen the value of one of my Bitcoins go from the time I bought it around 15,000. I saw it get up to like 17, 18 maybe, which was like an all-time high. I saw it dive all the way down to being worth probably less than $3,500. And just my mindset when I got into it was I'm gonna stay in this for 5-10 years. So when it went down to $3,500, you know, personally, I didn't flinch, and I seen it, you know, go back up, and now, you know, was up at 60, almost 60,000 at one point recently, and now it's dropped down to, let's see what Bitcoin is at right now after Elon. So Bitcoin is now at $50,100 is what it's worth. Over the last week, really last night, it's down 12.8%. Excuse me. Over the last month, mind you, this is coming down off all-time highs. It's down 16.8%. But if you look at it over the year, like if you bought a Bitcoin a year ago from today, it's up 438%. So, you know, and I'll do the same thing for Ethereum real quick. Ethereum, which is taking off this year. So in the last week, Ethereum is up 7.8%. The last 24 hours is down 10%. It kind of took a dive, you know, it's like everything it did yesterday in the crypto space. Last month, it's up 78%. And then in the last year, Ethereum, remember, you've had the boom of NFTs. You've had other things that's been built on the Ethereum. So it's up 1,812% on the year. So, you know, and that's the number 2 most held coin or crypto on Coinbase. I use Coinbase. It's a lot of other things that are out there. Crypto.com, Binance are the legit ones that I've heard about. But yeah, you know, do your research, invest something that you're okay with losing. And then most importantly, just let time do its thing. If you believe in it, this is in the stock market, in the crypto market, in any market. If you believe in something long term, that's when you invest in it and let it rock. I don't believe in being I won't say I don't believe in being a trader, but I wouldn't tell somebody, hey, yeah, overnight dump some money in a brokerage account and start being a trader. Like, hey, oh, it's a high here. Let me sell and take profits. Let me buy here at this spot. Because you're getting in trying to time up a market. That's not realistic. Like most people who try to trade end up failing. Most people end up failing. These are professionals. Trading is a day trading and shit like that. That's a full-time job where you have to study and be able to read charts, and be able to do this and do that. That's not like reading Twitter and saying, oh, a bunch of people saying buy this, let me go buy that. Investing, my 12-year-old became an investor at age 11. Like I let her pick some stocks that she liked, that she was interested in, that she thought would be good long term. She put some money in there, and over a year now, it's been doing great, better than I thought. She picked things that I didn't even have in my portfolio. She picked Chipotle. That was the first thing she said. Oh, Chipotle. She got it like $700 something. I'm like, Chipotle? Yeah, all right. She went and got Chipotle. She tried to get TikTok, but couldn't invest in that. And her shit is booming. So anybody can be an investor. You go to the companies you believe in, and you let them do their thing long term. So that's the investment talk for today. But appreciate y'all, man. Y'all know what to do. Go holler at my man Pat McAfee and the Pat McAfee Show. I will be there. I'll be on Pat's show again on this Friday in studio. We'll be back on the Man to Man pod on Monday. Like I said, make sure you go check out our last interview. And we talk all about money and investments. Talk some basketball too with my man Michael Baptist out there at Rockefeller with the Vios Group. He's been in the game over 20 years as a wealth advisor, and now he's representing athletes. And so check out the episode. Hopefully it helps. If you're not interested in investing, saving, money, it wasn't just for, big money, high net worth individuals. We had some conversations about, that can, impact any and everyone. So go check it out. And I appreciate you. I'm trying to get this, trying to see where Chipotle is. Let me see real quick before I let y'all go. Oh, nah. Yeah, so my baby up 44% on Chipotle. It's up at $1,344 now. So yeah, she believed in it. And now she's letting time do its thing. So we out, man. We don't talk just ball here, man. We ball, we invest, we all that, man. So like I said, I'll see y'all Friday. That's tomorrow. See y'all tomorrow at the beach house. Pat McAfee Show. Y'all go tap in. We are out of here. Some things I didn't get to, but who knows? Maybe y'all start seeing me every day. The Darius Butler Show coming soon. And shout out to my man AB, Antoine Bethea. Couldn't be here today. He's on vacation with his beautiful family. Doing his thing. He'll be back. We'll be back together on Monday. Shout out to AB. And appreciate y'all for tapping in. Keep tapping in, man. We are only getting started. We will be here. Merch coming soon. We out of here. Well, I'm out of here. Holla at y'all. See y'all Monday. Well, actually, nah. See y'all tomorrow. I'm out.